Hello, everyone. Let's go back over here and let's refresh real quick. And there it is, live now, and it is public. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks a lot for joining in. Okay, there we go. So pace yourself pace your growth with big steps. This message is going out to everybody that wherever you are, whatever you're doing in life, whether it's life, business, whatever, and you're trying to reach that next destination and it just doesn't seem like you're getting there. It could be the steps that you are taking. We often like to go at things very cautiously. We like to go at a pace where it's kind of like baby steps, little steps, tiny steps, little movements and everything. And sometimes, that just doesn't get it done because even though we are taking those steps, what we are actually pushing, what's actually holding us back, what we're actually keeping in focus more than trying to reach the goal, trying to attain the goal, is we are actually giving into fear. We don't have the confidence in ourselves. We're not really too sure about what's going on, and so we don't want to. It's almost like pride is also mixed in there, and a lot of times it probably is because you take those big steps, you make a big mistake, and then everybody notices, and all of a sudden, you look like a fraud, or you look like a goof, or I knew you wouldn't be able to make it, or something of that nature, and so it holds you back. And when it holds you back, then what you find out is that you start listening to those voices that are inside your head. In fact, a friend of mine has recently published her book entitled Hilda. And it's a really great read. Hilda is all those different voices that are in our head, the ones that tell us we're not good enough, that we shouldn't do it, whatever those reasons and doubts are. So that's a great book to actually listen to. Hold on one second. Let me step over here and do that real quick. Sorry about that. So I just wanted to talk about it real quick. Really, it's all this event was, and see if there's anything that I can get, any questions that I can answer for you, or maybe have a discussion with you. And is there something that is holding you back? Is there something that's preventing you from attaining that goal that you're set? Even though maybe you've got the best intentions and intended steps to move forward, are those steps really big enough? It's a learning experience. Everything that you do is a learning experience. Every step that you make, every mistake that you make is, today's victory was yesterday's folly, or yesterday's mistake, or yesterday's failure. That's what today's victory is, because more than likely you had to, read something, you had to study something, you had to research something, you had to go through, you had to suffer through it, you had to figure out, oh, this doesn't work. And what you discover on the other side is you're okay. You didn't get burned. You didn't lose, you weren't mortally wounded, or something of that. Do you understand the path that I'm going along when it comes to that? And it's that pride and fear that holds us back. And if you look up PACE, PACE, if you look up PACE in the reference, like in the Bible, in the Christian Bible, there's a couple of references, and when they talk about pace, they talk about big steps, and they're actually giving a definition, a definement of what that big step is, and it's almost a yard. And so if you think about it, you know, with the little steps, we're not doing that yard, but those big steps, taking that big leap, just going, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to go all in. I'm going to sit there and do everything I can to get to this next point. And that's when the breakthroughs happen. You've got to go through the heartbreak. You've got to go through the suffering. You've got to go through that point in which you just, all of a sudden you figure out, oh, wow, you know, I'm okay. And I came through, and maybe I didn't get the goal. Maybe I didn't reach it, but I'm a huge step closer, or I'm 2 huge steps faster in attaining that goal. And I've learned what I don't need to do. And the biggest reward out of it is understanding that someone somewhere has gone through exactly what you're going through right now. Over 7 billion people on this planet. And someone out there has had experiences like you have, and they've gotten through it. Someone came and they had the same circumstances, and they've gotten through it. They've moved beyond. And it's hope. It's proof that you can attain where you want to go. I learned later in life that nothing takes the place of experience. You can try and jumpstart. You can try and jump ahead. You can imagine all that you want, but there are certain things about life and business or school or whatever it is that you're in that you can't understand until you've fully arrived. But if what you're doing is those cautious, fearful, I don't want to be, embarrassed little baby steps, it takes forever. And the other danger that you encounter when you take those little steps is that you give yourself more time to talk yourself out of it and say, see, it's really not worth me doing it. It's really not worth it. I knew I couldn't do it. It's those voices that go off inside of our head. Let me know if any of that actually resonates with you. Again, in the comments section, if you are watching on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. You are more than welcome to continue watching. Hey, Rasheen, thanks a lot for being there. If you click on the link, you can actually, because I'm doing this live through the Webinar Jam Studio service, you can actually come on if you want to get on camera. You're more than welcome to do that. Rasheen says that she thinks the scary part is taking the big steps that cost us. And it is a scary thing. It's very fearful because we're built up with worrying about our image, our outer image, not just, what's my hair look like and the clothes that I'm wearing and the acne and all these different things, but it's the image that other people see. It's the image that we spend so much time trying to project this image that others see of us. And it's the image of, I'm not a failure. See, I've got it all together and I know what I'm doing. And I'm not like you. And but deep inside, we don't work hard enough on the image that we see of ourselves. Our eyes are not only projectors, but they're viewers. And what we project, what we view about ourselves is 1,000 times more important than what anybody else thinks about you. Because, and Dr. Seuss says it best, those that matter don't mind, and those that mind don't matter. Keeping those types of things in front of you and inside of you and saying them over to yourself as you try and take those big steps, take that big step. Move yourself forward. Be who it is that you want to be. Then you will see where you can actually get to. I'm going to take a sip because I'm talking a lot. Okay, sorry, clicked on something I shouldn't have clicked on. When you take those big steps, when you pace your growth, and again, pace in the Hebrew means big step, and again, the definement of measurement for that big step is almost a yard. So you're talking 3 feet. Those are huge steps. Think about it. We don't walk that way. We walk cautiously through life. There's always stages, And there are just things you will not fully understand until you have endured it. And that's another thing. We want to think ahead, and we would love to be able to, whatever it is that you got going on in life, the next big test that's coming up, the school dance, the next promotion that you've got you're trying to get. We would love to know the outcome before it ever comes, but there are just stages that you go through, and you are not going to fully understand them until you have endured all the way through it, until you have suffered all the way through it, until you have celebrated through it. And that's an important part of it as well. It's not all about being negative. It's about celebrating the steps as you go through them, and rewarding yourself and patting yourself on the back, and making sure that you look back and you understand that hindsight is 20/20 thing. Yep, always comes into play, doesn't it? It's well, maybe you've never heard it. So hindsight is always 20/20. Yeah, I would have loved to have sat there. I did a video that I'm getting ready to release for the YouTube partner that I'm with, and it's what I wish I knew. And I know that they're really aiming this at the younger generation. They're talking about high school and college, and what I wish I knew. If I could talk to my younger self, yeah, I would love to have talked to my younger self. But would my younger self even listen? If I had to think back on my younger self, I wouldn't have listened to myself. I would have thought I would have said I was crazy. Is there such a thing as taking a step that is too big? I don't think so. I don't think that there's taking it. And if there is, the point of that is, again, that question's based in fear and pride. Is there a step that's too big? No. Because even if you don't get the desired, attained result that you wanted, there's a learning that you have when you go through it. There's an endurement that you have. And the point of taking the big step is that you get along the path to whatever goal, whatever result you were desiring faster, you're more speedy. That's not really what I wanted to say. What about when you don't know what the next step is? And these are all great questions. I appreciate you putting them in the comment section. And make sure you share this out with other people as well, and have other people come in and give 2 thumbs up. What about when you don't know what the next step is? Well, that's part of the studying and the researching and the study, the research, the reading, the asking questions of others. And again, we sit there. One of the other areas, besides concentrating so much on the image that others see of us, we spend an enormous amount of time now, because of the online world making it so much easier for us to see so many other people and their success. We see their glory, we see their blessings, we see their rewards that they have, and that's what we want. But we don't see what they endured. We don't see what they suffered through to get there, and we don't want that ourselves. And we're almost afraid to ask people as we go along for advice, because we don't want to seem like a fraud. We don't want to seem like we don't know what we're doing. We don't want to seem inept, less than. Again, now we're worried about that image that other people see on us, and that's not what you need to keep in the forefront of what you're doing. And I'm glad this is so right on time and that you needed this. It's a wonderful thing for you to be able to step into that goal and to take that big step and to understand, again, the big thing is once you get through it and you look back and you realize, I didn't get burned, I didn't get maimed, I didn't lose a limb, the house is still here, the clients are still here, people still are listening to me, all that type of stuff. When you get through and you understand And like I say, keep that Dr. Seuss quote in mind as well. The ones that matter don't mind, and the ones that mind don't matter. Too many people attach themselves to us, and it's all based on a facade. It's the cool thing to do, or this is the hip or the in thing, or everybody else is listening to them. I might as well. And they're not who you really are trying to help out. And the first person that you need to be helping out is yourself, because you're the only person that ever has to live with you all the time, right? I mean, nobody truly has to be. I mean, your parents, they love you, but eventually they kick you out of the house. But your significant other, your wife, your husband, they don't have to live with you. That is by choice. The only person that has to live with you and the thoughts in your head is you. So make sure that that's something that you're doing. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching on YouTube. If you are joining me, if you would like to join me on camera and ask questions, the link is up at the top, davidvaughan.live. Frog in my throat. If you would like to join me live on camera, you are more than welcome to. Just, you have to register and hop into the room with me, but that's fine. Don't worry about it. One of the other areas, I've made mistakes. So here's the thing. I'm not very well versed in this subject, except for the fact that I've gone through this, that I'm one who would prefer to take the cautious little baby steps, the movements that are almost unnoticeable by anybody else, so that when I screw up, nobody really notices. Tonight's event was a really good one. I was sitting there sweating bullets right before I hit play. And I usually do this for every single event that I do, no matter how prepared or unprepared I am. And I've got no slides or anything. And I thought about doing all that type of stuff for this and having slides and a presentation. And I said, no, I just want me on the camera. And it's not vanity that wanted to do that. It's just the connection. I wanted you to be able to see my face, see my expressions as I talked about it. But I mean, I didn't even want to do this event. I was like, I wanted to, but I didn't want to be on camera. I didn't want, because what if I say something that's stupid, or I say something that's wrong? See how all that crap goes through? And I just took the big step. I hit, there's no going back now. We're live, we're on the air, and the internet is forever. Making the mistakes, having the setbacks, almost collapsing in it. I mean, the burdens that we have. You got to understand that those burdens, you can't have those glories, you can't have those rewards, you can't have those blessings unless you go through the burdens, unless you go through the miseries, unless you go through the setbacks and the collapsing and the just raising your hands up and saying, I don't know what to do next. Well, you've got to make a decision. And even if you decide not to do anything at all, you've still made a decision. Not until you've experienced and gone through it do you grow. Not until you've experienced will you become a better person. And again, with all these people on the planets, oh my gosh, Star Trek's coming in. With all the people on the planet, over 7 billion, somebody's had the same circumstances and gotten through it. Somebody's had the same experience and gotten through it. Somebody's done something somewhere that you want to do and they've gotten through it. You can too. What? You just need to look out. My son's playing a video game, so. The best thing that being able to experience does as you experience it is it lets you know your own ideology better. It lets you know you better. It lets you know what you are capable of. Everybody wants the recital. Nobody wants the rehearsals, but you have to go through the rehearsals in order to get the recitals. I'll refresh that and come back over here. The biggest problem is that you don't know what you don't know. Like Rasheen was asking, what if I don't know what the next step is? And that's where you got to take that pride and you got to put it away. You got to get it out of it. You got to put yourself out there and ask. It's like when I was in school, I was taught And I saw through example, when you're sitting in class and you've got a question, but you don't want to raise your hand because you don't want to look foolish in front of everybody else, and so then have the snickering and stuff going on. And the thing is, when you ask the question, there's always somebody else in the class that has the exact same question. They just didn't have the nerve to ask first. And you've got to be that person that has the nerve to ask first. You've got to be that person that sits there and goes, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. Let's see. I think I had one more point. Let me go through. Sometimes I dream about what it would be like to relive my life with the experience I have now. Sometimes I would, I talked about this a little bit before, what I wish I knew and talking to my younger self. And the big thing about that, the big understanding that you need to have is that you wouldn't be the person that you are now without having gone through the experiences that you've had, the steps that you have taken. And if you look back, your greatest growth, your greatest rewards didn't come from the little tiny steps. They came from that moment where you took some big giant leap. You took that big step. You took that yard, those 3 feet. You stepped into whatever it was. And that is what is most rewarding. And if you focus back on those, you say, I could do it now. I could do it at this time. I could do it here. I can do it there as well. And you can. You can. So that is pace your growth with big steps. And this was just a small event. I want to let you know, if you go to sign up, if you go to davidvaughan.live, and the comment on YouTube is in the link is in the comments on YouTube. If you go to davidvaughan.live and you click sign up, you'll be signing up for this event, but there are going to be some new events coming up. And so by tomorrow, the page is going to switch. I've got a 3-part series of events coming out over the next couple weeks that I'm going to do, and they're all going to be live. And they're going to be talking about various different steps that we have that we need sometimes some reassurance or some help getting through, or some guidance getting through. Maybe we just don't know. And so I want to share those with you. And so I invite you to sign up for those, sign up there. And what will happen is if you sign up there, you'll have an option to where you can get automatically registered for the next event that comes out. So you don't have to sign up again. You'll just start getting emails for the next event. I welcome you to do that. You can unsubscribe to it at any time, but at least this way you'll know once you've signed up that you're able to get on to the 3-part series, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. So even signing up for tonight's event will give you that. So let me go over here. So does anybody have any questions or comments or want to share anything? Please let me know. That's weird. Sometimes things don't want to work like they're supposed to, but that's okay. And thank you very much for the mentions on all the different social platforms. I appreciate you sharing this out. I had scheduled about 30 minutes worth of time for this to go through. We're coming up on about the 30-minute mark, but I can stick around for a little bit longer if anybody's got any questions. Again, if you'd like to join me live on camera and share or ask a question, the link, davidvaughan.live, you can go there and register, come on in, and up at the top of the corner will show a request that you can make to come on camera, and I can pop you on camera. Don't be shy. So again, when are the events going to be, and what are the events going to be? So the first event that's going to be coming up is an event called Put It Away. It's going to be a really good event. It's going to be a lot of information to help you out and getting through. A lot of times we go through expecting, if I become this, then this will happen, or this will take care of itself, or something of that nature. And I'm here to tell you, most of the time it doesn't work that way. Most of the time it requires the effort of you. And so it is called Put It Away. Will be the first event. And then I'll talk about the next two events, or the next event after that, during that event. It's going to be next week. Right now, it looks like it's going to be scheduled on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be, and again, it'll be through the same platform. You're more than welcome to join me and watch me on YouTube. I'll be more than happy to interact if you comment that way. Again, give 2 thumbs up on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube, or 2 big thumbs up, or 1 big thumb up. So anyway, that's going to be next week. If there are no other comments or questions, I'm going to refresh YouTube one more time. I'm not sure why the chat area of YouTube's not anywhere, but that's okay. I like that things are in the comment section. It keeps it there. It helps for other people. And I'm going to go back and reply to some of the comments as well. But we're coming up on the 30-minute mark. And since nobody has any questions, which is fine, my name is David Vaughan. I am the Entrepreneur's Geek. This was Pace Your Growth with Big Steps. At I am David Vaughan is where you can reach me at on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, just about everywhere. I am David Vaughan. Please reach out to me if you got any questions, or if you would like to discuss anything after this event. The replay will be live for a little while, or it may be live forever. Who knows? I haven't decided. But anyway, thanks a lot for joining. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you very much for all the comments and the feedback and the shares. And I'll see you on the next one.